What's funny to me is that I knew we were going to talk about the Met Gala, and we're also doing an episode about Rachel Dolezal. So I thought to myself, are we going to title the show The Met Gala and Rachel Dolezal? That will confuse so many people, as though Rachel Dolezal were at the Met Gala. Do you know what Rachel Dolezal would have worn to the Met Gala?
Her normal thing that she wears every day. That's a
blackface. Right.
Yeah.
She would have worn blackface. That's her costume.
Oh, God.
Oh, Rachel, we have so much to say about you later, but first let's talk about it. Do you have favorites?
Lil Nas X. And multiple people sent it to me and were like, thoughts, and I was like, this is what the Met Gala is for.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level of harebrained craziness I need.
Yes.
Like, Margot Robbie, do better. Like, you're beautiful. Everyone loves you. You're in the Barbie movie, so everyone's like obsessed. Like, you know. But like, that was an Oscar look. Like, you could have just worn that to the Oscars. I need craziness. I need things that you couldn't wear anywhere else, because if you did, people would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
Rihanna, hype, like, as always, destroyed in my opinion.
I so disagree. Rihanna,
really?
Rihanna looked like when you put a pet in a costume and they're just so miserable in it, and all you can see is their face and they want to break out. That's what Rihanna looked like to me. I was disappointed.
But that's like what I want. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything you just said to me is like a plus for me.
I want celebrities to look
miserable,
like uncomfortable house pets in Halloween costumes. Well, then she's definitely the winner in your category for sure.
Oh, I thought you were going to come on and agree with me. That's so funny.
I didn't. I don't know. She just looked too uncomfortable.
I love the sunglasses. Well, she's like, couldn't be more pregnant if she tried. That's probably why.
That's why. Why did she even go? You know what? If she really
can't miss it. She loves it. This is like where she shines.
If she really wanted to turn the Met Gala out, she should have, taken whatever those drugs are that induce labor and pop that brat out right on the red carpet. That's fashion right there. Not what she was wearing.
That's so funny. But her track record is stellar with the Met Gala.
She's royalty. Her and Blake Lively. There's a few people that are royalty at the Met Gala. Was Blake Lively even there?
No, she said that she wasn't going to go. I think she just had a child, if I'm not mistaken, because she put up a picture that was her like pumping. So she's like, I get why. Like, I wouldn't want to go either if I was like actively pumping breast milk every 2 hours, right?
I also think that a breast pump would have been a great costume.
Would have been.
She should have gone.
Yeah. See, well, there we go.
You know who I thought was great, which I don't think it was a costume, but it was definitely sort of between costume and Oscars, was Anne Hathaway, who I never normally love. And give me Barbarella hair and it doesn't even matter what you wear. She looked fantastic.
And it was the Oscar, it was Oscars, but it was like enough craziness that it was acceptable.
Yep.
I thought it was great too. She looked beautiful, by the way. And I think but again, I'm like, all right, but like, where's the weird thing that you're going to like jump out of when you wear this? Like, I want craziness. Like, I want chaos.
I'm fine with chaos. Just when there's always like a line though, for some reason, like Jared Leto. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It was bad. I hate it. I hate him. So I'm like, I can't stand him.
I wanted to get into how clever he was, but he's not. And I couldn't. It was a Halloween costume.
This is the thing. You either wear a furry costume and then wear a furry costume the whole time, and that's the thing, or you don't wear it, or you wear the head and you never take it off and no one ever knows who you are until afterwards.
Thank you. If he had left it on and then posted an Insta today at lunch that was me, then it would have been cute. But him just whatever.
No, I agree with you, because
whatever with him,
because he wore the furry costume and then changed into something else. Then I'm like, well, what's the point? Just come in the thing that you came in.
I didn't see his second
outfit.
A black.
It was cool. It was like a black outfit with like a big cape. It was good, but it's like either wear that or wear the furry costume, or have the furry costume like detach and have it be like half furry, half not. I don't know. It was a miss. It was a swing and a miss.
He should have just worn the cat head and been completely nude otherwise.
With like a little like thong bikini. Like, you know what
Not
I mean?
even that. Just have his dick out.
I know. Well,
a cat with a dick.
Oh my God. No, you wouldn't want that, like the cat hair, like little thong. That would be funny.
Nah, I just would rather see Jared Leto's dick.
We know. Okay, anyway, moving on.
I thought, speaking of the boys, I was definitely more like, a lot of my A pluses went more to men than women. I loved Simu Liu. I loved Pedro Pascal's outfit. I love any sort of like whimsical feminine twist on a typical male ensemble. I loved Pedro. Maluma, I loved Joseph Altazar, the designer. I don't know who he was wearing. He might have been wearing one of his own, but he had on like a florally see-through white shirt and a black suit. He looked fantastic. And Brian Tyree Henry, I thought, turned it. Did you see him?
Best dressed male, him.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you.
That was it. It was like, you need the like, all these men you just named, great, but those were too accessible. I loved them. And I think we need to like, I love the like suit that's more, I don't know. It's very what Karl Lagerfeld would wear. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that. But it's like Brian Tyree Henry really, truly was like giving us everything that we needed. Like, that's what I want. I want the drama of all that. That's a perfect outfit for me. If you're not going to be Lil Nas X and in like silver like sequins from head to toe. Or Doja Cat. Did you see Doja Cat's, who another person I literally cannot stand? Whatever. And I always say that her nose is like retouched within an inch of its life. I was like, which is like so mean, but I'm always like, how many nose jobs? It's like, she's been nose jobbed to the hilt. But she got rid of it and had like a cat nose, which was actually, I was like, okay, as much as I literally can't stand you, you look great.
Glenn Close also, did you see her outfit? Did you know what she did? She just woke up at her hotel, rolled in the bedding, and just walked over to the Met.
But it doesn't even matter because it's Glenn Close.
Like, it was my favorite moment of the night, actually. As much as Glenn Close made me laugh the hardest, I don't think that she was the worst. Who do you think was the worst dressed?
I don't have anyone like on my list that I'm like, ew, this is disgusting. Wait, one more best. I love Janelle Monáe. No matter what Janelle Monáe does, I'm obsessed.
I can't. She's on my worst list.
She's on your worst list? Go.
She
tell us
why. She looked like she was wearing a cone that your dog gets from the vet that someone had put crepe paper on.
Again,
upside down. I was like, what's going on? What is going on?
That's why I liked it.
See, I need that line though. Well, I know what you mean. I just sound like an old man, but I just was. She could do better. You know who else probably can't do better and keeps trying is Ben Platt. What I don't understand.
Oh, I didn't even see his thing. Hold on, let me Google it.
I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to describe it. I'm not articulate enough to describe this. It was like my grandmother's. It was like my grandmother's estate wrapped around a gay man. It was doilies and pearls. It was a lot. Lots of eyeliner. I just
okay. If the pants would have been fitted at the bottom, it would have been much better. Because you can't do a cropped. Now I'm really getting into like fashion. The fact that it's like the cropped. I love the idea of what he wanted to do. The cropped blazer, but you need the pants to then also be fitted so that it's like this cropped, like tight, like matador look. It went from being that to then like being this thing where he's wearing like these big heeled boots, and it's like, one, show me the boots, and two, I don't want these pants that are ill fitting right now and like don't look good.
I think it would have looked better probably at home.
It also would have been better. It also would have looked. He also is not. If Maluma wore this, we would loved it.
Well, I'd love it more because, but someone else, I don't know. But we'd react better to Maluma wearing, know, a napkin from Burger King. It doesn't even matter.
Literally.
But I think I still would have thought,
Another, who else is Jonathan Groff as well. It's like, you could do more.
I agree.
Like, you could do a lot more.
I agree.
So do it.
He wore what? He wore a black tux with like a pearl line lapel.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just went crazy. I want debauchery. Like, I want people to be insane. Like when Lady Gaga came on the one year and was like the camp season and just had like 6 dresses on at once and just like took 90 million years to take off all her clothes. I was like, this is what I want to see.
Or Billy Porter being carried in like Judy Tenuta. Yeah, those are that's a fabulous moment. It's got to be right. Like the moment it feels too engineered or too. I mean, the whole thing is about being look at me, obviously, but there's just a line you cross where it's like, oh, you tried a tiny bit too hard, then I just lose I just lose interest.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
And then there are the people that, why are they even there? Like, if I was at the Met Gala and I saw Rami Malek, I would have handed him my empty cocktail or my coat. What was he wearing? What was he wearing? He was dressed as a waiter. It was the strangest thing.
I need to go look now.
But he's not even wearing anything. He's just wearing like a white waistcoat and black pleated. I'm telling, right?
This is like at the
Hi, how are you? Good evening. How are you? Here's my coat.
This is
my
like,
phone's inside. Give it back to me 1 second. All right. Thank you, dear. Thank you. You have a ticket?
This is like when you're at your friend's wedding and you take your blazer off and you're like just in your little vest and your shirt, like you're a groomsman and you like it's too hot and you're dancing and you took your tie and your blazer off.
Yeah.
That's like what this looks like.
It's like 1989 junior prom.
Yeah,
I think you could Cavaricci's.
You could do so much more.
I can't believe you even know what Cavaricci's are. That's fantastic.
That's hilarious. Like do more.
Yeah. Did you wait? Have we discussed Pete Davidson?
No.
Why?
Well, you did so much more research
Why?
than I did. Okay.
I don't know that I'd call it research. I went to one website.
No.
He's literally wearing a bucket hat.
I mean, it tracks, like, but it's just ugly. Everything is ugly.
It's just sort of unnecessary.
He is in the category of person that's like, you need a shower. Like, no matter where, no matter like what he wears or does, or like, if I saw a video of him taking a shower and then he got out of it, I'd be like, you need a shower. Like, there's something about him that I like just think that he smells bad. That's really mean, but like, it's what I feel.
With some of our veterans too, looked fashion veterans. I don't believe anyone from the military was there. Right. Michelle Yeoh. I mean, Michelle Yeoh is someone who always looks wonderful, and I don't get tired of her.
Yeah, love
wonderful.
it.
Same with Viola Davis. I thought she looked, again, not terribly over the top, but just she just looked like Viola Davis, which is a high compliment.
Well, and here's what Viola Davis and Pedro Pascal did this as well, is they wore color, because every single other person just wore black and white, which is like, how did more people not get up on that trend of being like, I need to wear color because every single person's going to be in black and white. They did. So I thought Viola Davis looked amazing. Michelle Yeoh looked stunning. J-Lo is a miss for me.
Yeah.
The weird booby, like I have a scarf that I tied my boobs up with top. I'm not into it all.
Right.
And
you do? Oh, you're speaking as J-Lo. Oh, okay.
I don't like,
because I do. And my breasts
I hate it.
Are absolutely lower than J-Lo's, and she and I are the same age.
I don't like it. She's beautiful. Like, she's like the most beautiful person on the planet. We are aware of this. However, I thought it was just it looks so trashy, the top of it. I don't know.
Cardi B, I thought looked
perfect.
Absolutely phenomenal.
On the best dress list. Like that, Cardi B is what this is about. The big rosettes that are like so many people wore, and she wore them the best. Like the hair, the top, like her version of what she would wear if she was Karl Lagerfeld. Like, that is what this is.
Yeah, to use the overused phrase, she understood the assignment. Yeah, and she A+'d it.
Who didn't understand it was J-Lo's top. I don't know. There's something about it. I just think it looks so trashy, and it brings her down. So meanwhile, like, I'm zooming in on her face, and like you've never seen a more beautiful person.
She's a wax figure.
Yeah, like, it's insane.
Yeah,
and like her body. I mean, remember Hustlers when she was like on that pole? And you saw like her like taint.
Yes.
Like, she was like beautiful. Like, there was nothing to hide. Like, you saw her like her like labia minora and majora. Like,
both.
Yeah. It was,
as I'm looking at it now, it sort of looks like, remember when Christina Aguilera in her dirty era wore, was it to the MTV Awards? She wore like that same top that J-Lo wore last night, but
it was like a piece of paper. It was like that she like wrapped around herself.
It's that. That's why you think it's trashy, because that's what Christina invented that top.
Yeah. During the dirty era, which is like the point of it, for her to like look like a two-bit piece of trash. Yep. I mean, all in all, I will say I think successful. Whereas like the past couple of years, I've been like, meh.
See, I thought that this year was a little bit. I thought it was a good night, but it was. I feel like I'm talking less about it Like, I think when we're done talking about it here, I'm probably not
You're
ever going to
done.
talk about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like when they did Camp a couple of years ago, I'm still talking about some of those.
No, because that was like a great theme. Whereas like
Yeah.
wasn't last year like American designers? Like that's so broad and ridiculous.
Something, yeah.
It was
something
like
that was a
very
little hard to
broad and
pinpoint.
not, yeah.
I also thought it was real interesting that they picked Karl Lagerfeld as the theme, because he is like a horrific human being. So
Yeah, like
I was
we
surprised that
we could
they
do-
could have picked someone else.
We could
you
do
know?
a whole episode of the show just on him. Like,
He's too late to fix, but
yeah.
I mean, it was just he's and to watch the live feed last night and everyone is praising him. I'm like, could just Google Karl Lagerfeld quotes. Like,
yeah,
what do you do? He thinks you're fat, Nicole Kidman. He thinks you're morbidly obese. That's what Karl Lagerfeld thinks.
How dare we go this long and not talk about our girl, Nicole?
Yeah, I mean,
I liked that she wore the same dress. I loved it. And she didn't really have to do anything, and she's already insane. So like, she could wear again like a Burger King napkin, and we'd be like, best dress. Like, loved it.
I mean, we love a callback of any kind, and it was the ultimate. She was like, Nicole Kidman is such a big star that when she does a callback, it's a callback of herself from 25 years ago. That is how huge she is. And
She's
when
like,
she was. When she was, remember how wonderful I was in 1994? I still am.
And we're like, because we're all like little fucking brown nosers. Like, you know what I mean?
And when she's on the red carpet and Lala's like, what is it about this dress, do you think? And she just said, whimsy. I was like, oh, thank you. Nicole Kidman, thank you for being the Nicole Kidmaniest Nicole Kidman at the Met Gala. What do you think they served? Ozempic on a
plate. Like, you know, like
Mindy Kaling was there. Speaking of Ozempic.
Oh, I didn't. Did she look good?
You know, B-. It didn't move the needle either way for me. Yes, she looked good, but again, to your point about there was no chaos. There wasn't any chaos in her look.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a no for me, dog.
It was okay. Jeremy Strong was there, and
it's a no. It's gonna be a no.
Yeah, this is the thing about Jeremy Strong. I don't care what he wears. I want him to just beat the shit out of me and nurse me back to health. I don't know. I love Jeremy Strong. I love Kendall Roy, and we haven't talked about this yet. But did we discuss this, or did someone ask us if we would fix fictional characters and if we would fix Kendall Roy?
I think we just discussed
famous people,
but we should as like a funny trolling.
I think that would be fun. Yeah.
Well, they're basically the same person, because like every interview he does is like it's just
they're both intense.
Control.
Yeah, they're both incredibly intense.
Control of like how they don't know who they are and like what. Yeah. So
are any Real Housewives ever invited, or do they ever attend?
No.
Like really not one, right?
No. Why would they be?
I don't know.
Wait, did you see that Lisa Vanderpump was at the correspondence dinner? Did you see?
Yeah. With Ariana.
Yeah, like why?
Because the White House Correspondence Dinner is actually more of a joke than the Met Gala somehow.
Yeah,
it's like
true.
Insane. Like if you're never mind.
No, we can't even get into it.
We literally can't.
We can't open that door.
I did just, however, have some. So it's very early here when we're taping this, and I just got a flash in my head of Jill Zarin attending the Met Gala and being removed. That I would like to see happen.
Well, she should have shown up and done a thing and been like, "I'm trying to get in," because remember when everyone said that she snuck into the Vanity Fair party? Like she should have done. That's a funny bit, in my opinion. And she like is dressed with like a Zarin rug behind her. Like that would have been funny.
It's a black and white rug. It's a Bobby loved Karl Lagerfeld. Bobby loved. I'm wrapped in a Karl rug. It's a Chanel rug. Allie, where are my lashes?
See, that would have been funny.
Should I go get my coat from Rami Malek so we can start fixing a famous person?
Yes. All right. Dominick is like the definition in the dictionary of chomping at the bit is Dominick Pupa right now.
This is how you were with Meghan Markle. It is literally the same exact thing.
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you act like this is the same thing? You are in the stratosphere already, and we haven't even started. Okay, before we go any further.
It's true, though. It is true.
We are
please introduce our guest, please.
Our guest is the host of the podcast Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous. She is another sugar cookie in the Chelsea Devantez Celebrity Book Club. We met through book club. We are internet friends. We've never met in person, but I literally talk to her every single day. Again, Erin Bagwell's been on the podcast. Julia, you're the second person to come on the podcast. Please, everyone, welcome Julia Washington.
Woo!
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited for today's topic. You have no idea.
So last week in the podcast, Dominick talks about how, like, coming up, we're going to eventually talk about Rachel Dolezal, and like literally the day that, and truly the day that the episode dropped, Julia DM'd me and was like, please do Rachel Dolezal. I cannot stand her, and I really want to hear what you have to say. And I was like, do you want to be our guest? And she was like, it would be my life's honor. So she's here.
Obviously.
Before we go any further, Julia, explain to us about your podcast. Like, explain your podcast to us, because I feel like a lot of people actually really like it that listen to us.
Yeah. So Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous. We analyze pop culture through the lens of race or gender, and sometimes both. And we evaluate all pop culture properties from like 40 years ago to present day. And we take a look at how they impact and influence our decisions, the way we think about ourselves, the way we think about culture and society as a whole, all the fun stuff.
I love that.
Isn't it so fun? Yeah. Go ahead.
It's been a really interesting experience on my end, because here I am coming from like, oh, I loved Family Ties growing up, right? And then now it's like all of these other conversations that are where my guests are realizing like, oh, I didn't realize that particular movie did totally influence the way I date. And I thought, same girl. We all wish we were When Harry Met Sally at some point.
I mean, but like, really though, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like something that we don't like. TV and movies have such power, and like the notoriety of fame, which we will get into in this episode, does have a power over everyone. It truly does. And it's something that like a lot of people see that they can harness and then decide that they should, for better or for worse.
Yes, we're seeing that a lot more too, especially because like with the recent Love is Blind season 4 reunion, where Zach calls out Irina for staying on the show longer than she probably should have because she was like fame hungry. So, but it's interesting how people internalize what we see through pop culture and how that comes out externally. And it's been a lot of fun talking with my guests about it.
You said
you guys
the name of the show's. Did you say the name of the show's Love is Blind?
The Love is Blind season 4. Yeah,
I have not heard of it. Mm-hmm. Chris, have we talked about that show before?
No, only 1 million times, and you refuse to know what I'm talking about. So, you know, it's just, Julia, this is what I'm dealing with every week.
Grandma's here. Grandma just bought a television. That's basically what that's the subtitle of this podcast.
Grandma just bought a television.
He texts me. It's like, Love is Blind. Are you watching? I'm like, no, girl, I'm watching Succession. This is
like the whole world is in I'm like, the whole world is in upheaval. Like, are you like what? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm like, of course it is. They've named Logan Roy's successor. It is in upheaval.
You didn't even text me back. Is really what happened.
Because I was watching Succession.
The rule is never text during Succession.
Okay.
Oh my God, I really didn't text you back. I'm so sorry.
No, you truly didn't. So it's fine.
God.
All right.
So we should talk today about what we're doing today, who the topic is today.
Dominick, you go ahead.
Here's what I want to say about today's client. She is the American dream. She is the American nightmare. She is pop culture royalty, and she is polarizing as all get out. We are speaking, of course, of Rachel Ann Dolezal, because that is how it's pronounced. It is Dolezal. Put respect on the name, at least just on the name, if not the person.
And not the human being. That's horrible.
What to say about Rachel Dolezal that we don't already know? The long and the short of it is that Rachel Dolezal is a Caucasian woman. Those are my glasses. Rachel Dolezal is a Caucasian woman who, for a period of time in her life, pretended to be an African American woman. She didn't just pretend to be an African American woman. She was pretending to be an African American woman while also being a chapter president of the Spokane installment of the NAACP. You heard that right. The NAACP. If you haven't seen this video yet of Rachel Dolezal being questioned by a Spokane reporter, a local reporter, in June of 2015, she is going on about something else, and all the reporter wants to know is ask her if she is actually African American. Isn't she, in fact, Caucasian? And she draws a blank, is the best way I can describe it, and turns around and walks off. And what follows can be described only as an international maelstrom, where we're just talking about race, and someone's introducing the term, someone meaning Rachel is saying that she is transracial, and we're going, oh shit, oh no, here we go. But she didn't stop. She just kept moving forward. Obviously didn't return to the NAACP, but definitely became a cultural touchstone of sorts. Love or hate her, everyone knows who she is. Julia, I couldn't really get a read on your face when I first said the name Rachel Dolezal. What is your immediate reaction when you hear her name at all? Is it laughter? Is it a groan? Is it, this fucking bitch, we are still talking about her?
It's a combination of a groan and this fucking bitch.
Please tell me why.
Oh, because, okay, so I am a light-skinned Black woman. I also have a Black father. So when I saw that original interview and they're like, here's a picture of your dad. Your dad. My dad's Black. And I'm looking at her watching this interview thinking, no, you're stealing it from me. You're taking away like the complication of being a biracial person in the United States of America, which is a complicated, emotionally charged thing, right? And so every time anybody brings her up, I'm always just like Meghan Markle, I need her to stop talking.
I will say that, like, Julie and I both said we're going to brush up on the Netflix documentary called The Rachel Divide before doing this. Because, again, it was like, that was filmed in like 2015, I think. Like, they're literally like,
but I think
they're
talking later.
After. Yeah, this was like 2019, I believe, 2019, 2020.
Oh, I don't know. God, no. I think it was released in
I don't think it was that late. I think it was.
No, because
I think it was filmed in 2016 and released in 2018.
Because like in the documentary,
because she's pregnant in it,
and in the documentary, she's like watching the 2016 election happen, and like quite literally, when I was watching it today, I was like, oh, like what a simpler time. Like, is that bad that I was like looking back on like the 2016 election and being like, this was like literally a beautiful time compared to what we're living in right now.
Honestly, though.
And like, I wish I was joking at all when I say that.
Prior to November, yeah, it was a fucked up but simpler time.
Yeah.
I was letting it wash all over me. I don't know what it was, and I was also thinking, like, I wonder what the 2023 version of this movie, like, it could have used a refresh, and I feel like we're such a different world now than we were back then, and it's very interesting to watch it back. But Julia, continue. But I want to frame it in the thing of like, we just came back off of that movie.
Yeah, it was actually interesting to watch it now in 2023 compared to pre-2016 because she's saying a lot of things now, because within the last, I want to say 4 years, there's been more conversation online about being biracial and what that looks like, and just how there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to being biracial, regardless of what your mix is. And so some of the rhetoric she says in a lot of her interviews since the, infamous video of her like not answering the question, she says a lot of the same stuff that the biracial community says. So this time watching it, I was like, ooh, I really don't like you, because it is really hard being mixed in America. I like to equate it as a mind fuck, especially when you are a little bit lighter, especially when like you don't look like either one of your parents. This woman clearly looks like her mother. She looks exactly
like her mother.
Her
Exactly
mother.
like her. Yeah.
So like for her to be like, I identify as cool, great. Be like Macklemore, be like Eminem, just steal the culture and get Grammys for it. Like, do not pretend.
I mean, that's how bad it is that the advice already is be like Macklemore. No one's ever said that.
Oh, man.
That's probably the worst thing you could say about her, Julia. I don't know. No one would insult her worse than that.
I am fucking dead.
When I saw her in that interview, the local news interview, and she just got that look on her face when she was like, fuck, it was my nightmare. And I would think the nightmare of anyone who's ever kept a secret, a big one, from people for a long time, to see that look on someone's face that they know their entire life is about to change, not just because of the lie, but because the lie was busted on camera, which made all the difference in the world. I mean, this woman, she must, like, all the shit that she made people believe. She told people that she had lived in a teepee and that her family hunted food with bow and arrow. This woman got to rise.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I did not know about this at all.
Oh, please. There are details about this even on the Wikipedia page about her, where not only did she said she lived in a teepee, but she's told stories about her family being using lima beans as chess pieces in a game, like using beans. It's
because they had because they were like living off of the earth,
or because that's what she thought people in a teepee did. I don't know. I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
There's so many. She's always going to be more questions than answers, for sure. But to go through all of this, really, to really go through this lie after lie after lie, and to be busted, and to her, she must think to herself, I pulled off what can only be described as like one of the great con jobs of the 21st century, and I got busted by local news.
Yeah, literally in
Washington. What the fuck did I do? This? I've come this far for this to end like this in Spokane. Local? Are they even a network affiliate? What happened here?
Well, that's what's funny is it's not even that it's like Ronan Farrow's like taking her down. Like this is like, it's literally like a local news reporter that's in like minute 2 of the documentary, and he's a fucking idiot.
Right.
and he literally destroyed her with one question.
One question. Yeah.
He said, are you white? And like literally her entire world just crumbles around her.
What was your strategy in getting her to admit her wrong? Well, I just asked her what her fucking race was. That was it.
It was.
She left.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that's like funny is that she didn't even say, no, I'm black. Like she didn't even lie and then get caught in the lie. She just stopped speaking. Do you know what I mean? Like that is what's crazy. Yeah. And it really is like truly like what you were saying, Dom, that's like, she just gets wrecked so quickly. And the other thing is like,
she tried though. She tried, like the first time he was doing it, she gave that sort of inquisitive face, like, I don't know what you mean. And then he was like, this is what I mean. And she said, thank you, good night. And just turned on heels and bolted. And that face gives me nightmares. I'm telling you, that the look on her face when she's busted,
pure fear.
It's like
pure fear. Yeah.
I feel like that's the face every time I send an email to the wrong person, every time I'm caught in a lie that I told when I was drunk. It's just like, but much more severe.
And taking away the job from, like, it's much like we were talking about with Hilaria Baldwin, is like, sure, like, LOL, this is fucking ridiculous, whatever. But then the minute that she's like, on the cover of these magazines that are like celebrating like Latin people, and like as she's filling a space where like it really should be someone that's not white, like that's when it becomes a much bigger problem.
Yeah. Do you guys, I mean, I can't remember. Did they touch on the Howard lawsuit in the documentary?
Where I got to, they're like, someone was tweeting, like, remember when she sued Howard?
Yeah.
They touch on it, but I don't think they really explain the entire thing. So, like, do you know the facts, Julia?
Just a smidge. She sues them for discrimination because in her words, she's saying that they took away her funding because she probably has white family who can support her. I don't know if that's how Howard would have said it. That doesn't sound like a statement Howard would make to me from what I know about Howard University. But so then she turns around and sues them for discrimination. And it's like, ma'am, you went to a historically Black college and you're mad because they want Black people there?
Yeah.
When you claim to be Black?
She would just look at them blindly and say,
like to say,
yes, that's correct. Yes.
Well, that's the thing for me where she's like, I forget, she was on a Melissa Harris Perry interviewed her, whom I love. And Melissa Harris Perry has a white mom also. And she flat out was like, would you be mad if you saw somebody do it? Absolutely, I would be mad. What? Like, you admit that you would be mad if somebody is exposed for doing this, but you're being exposed for doing this.
Because in the documentary, we hear that, like, she's born to two white parents. They're very religious. They then, like, are called, and again, I'm getting this all from the documentary on Netflix. Like, they then, like, what was it? Like, they feel called by God to, like, adopt children and to, like, help children in need, right?
Adopt children to save them from abortion is how she stated it. To adopt children to save them from abortion.
Which doesn't make any sense.
It was phrased. So.
But does that make sense if they already are alive?
Right?
Is that not what it was then? No. I guess maybe. Like, maybe
right?
They weren't. But it doesn't make, that's weird. But.
Which is controversial in and of itself, anyway, because they're all African-American, those kids that they adopted. Like, every one of them.
Correct.
And so basically.
Because I guess white women don't have abortions, or their kids don't need to be saved from it. Troubling.
Question mark. And so they go, like, they then get these 4 kids. It's 4, right?
It's 4, yeah. 3 are African-American and 1 is Haitian.
The parents adopt 4 kids that are not the same skin color as Rachel. And, like, when you do hear the story, I am like, oh, I do understand weirdly in my brain, I'm like, I get if she thinks, okay, how do I relate to my siblings? That I clearly, there's such a, like, divide between us age-wise, they're racially different. Like, there's a weird thing in my mind where, like, although I don't agree with it or think it makes sense, like, I see the path of her then becoming who she is today. Is that weird? I don't know. Like, I see where it's stemming from, but it's just sad because it's like,
to Dom's point earlier, that's a missed opportunity to be a really good ally, because you don't have to adopt you don't have to do that kind of adoption when it comes to cultural appropriation or what have you. You can still be the voice of the bridge between who you claim to be abusive parents and your adopted siblings for there to be harmony in the family. Like, you don't have to just be like, all right, I'm Black now, so you don't get it. We're out. Bye. Which I don't know if that's how that happened, because 3 of the kids accused of abuse, and the one's vocal and says that they're not, and the other 2, the older son, their oldest bio son, has a whole slew of issues, and then there's one child that I couldn't find anything on.
Yeah, so they basically claim that the parents were abusive to the 4 adopted kids. Rachel basically, like, saves them from the parents, and she then also, like, they do in the documentary try to blame the whole, like, let's take Rachel Dolezal down, like Local 7 News guy coming from, like, the lawsuit that basically they were in a custody battle with the parents, and that parents used that to try to take her down, which, like, even if that is true, like, there would be nothing to take you down with if you weren't pretending to be Black and literally living in brown face at the very minimum, and, like, wearing wigs that you don't need to wear, and, like, doing all this stuff. You could have just been a white woman that, like, and again, like, listening to her story for 2 seconds, you're like, oh my God, I completely understand why you would want to be affiliated with the NAACP in your town, because you're basically raising 4 Black children yourself. Right.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then it's that allyship. It's that understanding and helping your kids grow up and understand their culture and where they came from and just the cultural significance of being Black in America and all those things.
Which
again, you don't have to pretend.
Right. Be very fulfilling. You can support your gay children without being gay. You can do all sorts of things to people to be kind to them without trying to
be who they are.
Yeah, it's just it's like method allyship where you have to just like be the thing that be the people you're trying to help.
She's Daniel Day-Lewis.
She's Jeremy Strong, basically. That's what she's doing.
So stupid.
And she doesn't stop, honey. She does even still like it is like a Roy Cohn, Donald Trump, Lisa Rinna level of persistence where it's just like all evidence to the contrary. I am a Black woman. I am transracial. I am still going to go outside with 40-inch braids or dress. Like it's not, she has not pulled back at all.
No. At all.
I don't, that line between admirable and psychotic. I think she hasn't killed anyone that we know of. So that's why I try not to be too severe with her. Are there people of color that because I know the answer to this with my friends who are Black. There are some of them who think she's hilarious or ridiculous or just stupid. But I have other friends who definitely do not think anything about this is stupid. They think it's endemic of larger issues that we have where people think they can move in and out of race and appropriate. Is it possible for a person of color to forgive Rachel Dolezal?
I think it depends on where they are in their own racial identity.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for me and the unit of family that I have, we're all just kind of like, girl, you're making our lives harder. Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
But for other people, like the guy in the documentary that Chris brought up earlier, where he was like, internally, I feel like a white woman. And that statement kind of gave me pause because there's this whole conversation about proximity to whiteness and colorism is a huge thing, right? Like the lighter you are and all these things and the more access and the resources and all these things that come with that. And so, for me, I'm just like, I'm a little bit of both. There's some comedic stuff about her, but then there's some stuff where I'm just like, you don't understand the harm that you're actually doing to your children. And you don't understand the harm that you're doing to the greater community now. You were great. You did all these amazing things in the 5 years before you were exposed. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
But you did them in blackface.
But you did them in blackface.
Right. So bad. I don't mean to laugh, but it's funny.
Well, because it's weird. It's like thanking the president of the NAACP, who's literally in blackface. I mean, it's still 8 years later. This story, I think about it, and I'm like, I just don't. I don't know. It's like Joel Osteen being the president of GLAAD. It is finding out that the head of the NAACP is just someone wearing blackface is literally like Joel Osteen assuming the presidency of GLAAD. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous story.
It is. And I think it wouldn't still be something we're talking about if she wasn't still actively pursuing, like promoting her book.
I think you're right.
The book that at the end of the Netflix doc that said only sold 596 copies on the day of its release. Like she's still pounding the pavement saying, buy my book, something about living in color. I don't remember what it's called. And it's just like, ma'am, no, like,
well, yeah, I mean,
that's want people to understand you.
She's determined. She won't stop. And they discuss it in the documentary too. She's like, I need to make money, honey. Like I got to do whatever. She does her art and she does this book. I refuse to speak about her being on OnlyFans because I think it is absolutely obscene. It's beyond pop culture. It's like beyond a Trump presidency. I don't understand how I can say the sentence Rachel Dolezal has an OnlyFans account. I can't process.
Dominic, she has to make money somehow. What is she going to do?
I just don't understand. Just write the book.
Yeah, but no one wants to read it. Okay, so here's my biggest problem with her, and I kind of tease this at the beginning, is that like she could just be like, okay, I'm going to shut the fuck up and stop like wearing blackface every day and like instead I'm going to just like do what I was doing before and like trying to like champion for the Black community and just like go away from being like an infamous celebrity now. But like that's not the point of this. She loves that everyone hates her, and she can say that she doesn't, and it is probably really hard because in the documentary a lot they're like, you see people being like, aren't you Rachel Dolezal? And she's like, yes. And like she clearly doesn't, is like nervous. And like there was a guy like she does have people harass her all the time, which I do think is hard and I bet sucks.
But you think she likes that everyone hates her.
It's not even that. It's not even, I don't think that she likes that everyone hates her. She can't, now that she got a taste of fame, she loves it. She can't just like erase her identity of who we know her as and her infamy. She loves that she can go on the Today Show, get interviewed by like one of the co-hosts of the Today Show and talk about her book. She loves that like she can go on any radio show that will have her because who would ever turn down her to be on their radio show. Like she acts like she could just have a normal job and change her name and all this could go away, but she doubles and triples and quadruples down on it over and over and over over again.
I need to take issue a little bit. I mean, like, she can just go have a normal job and go. I mean, if Rachel Dolezal was your cashier at Target, you're actually going to scan and not take a selfie with her and just let her live her very white life?
If she took off her wigs and she didn't do her like bronzer or do her spray tans or tanning, whatever she does to her skin, you would say that woman kind of looks like Rachel Dolezal if she was white. Haha.
I agree.
Julia agrees. See, like she loves the fame of it.
I totally agree.
You don't have to go on the Today Show.
I agree, because when you look at pictures of her before she started doing blackface, she does look like a different person. I don't think anyone would recognize her if she just let her hair go back to being natural and stop doing whatever she's doing to her skin.
And just like do different makeup. Like, I don't know. Like there's people can turn into like any Disney princess they want with contouring. Like she can look like a different person. I'm sorry. It's 2023. Like, but what I am saying is that she can't be anyone but like who we know her to be now is my point.
Yeah, she can't. No, because she spent enough years she did not retreat. She did the opposite. And then she has no alternative but to be Rachel Dolezal for the rest of her life. Although she's really no longer going by Rachel Dolezal. She goes by the name, I don't know how to say her first name, is Nkechi Amare Diallo.
At the end of the documentary, that's what she changes it to. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That is the end of the doc where she does that.
I'll tell you, that's even worse. That's even worse. Like, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Dear God. Does she really go by that? Like, because there's no way, right?
No, her Instagram handle is Rachel Dolezal.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck?
She can't get away from it. No, she's tried to do what you're asking, although as a Black person instead of a white person. She's tried to just take a different Blacker name and live a private life, but the world just won't let her. Instagram just won't let her change that name. That must be the reason that she's still known as Rachel Dolezal.
It's not because she has a bajillion followers as Rachel Dolezal, and like, again, she's like dining. The thing that sucks too is that like everything she does now, it's like she writes a book. It's not like a book about like, here's the story of like my four siblings that I had to like, it's about her being her identity. It's about her identity. It's not about her children. And that's what's funny is like when you watch a documentary, they interview her kids and the kids are like, I wish she would just stop doing this. Like they say like, I don't like this. Like this sucks. Like it's really bad. And like, she never takes any ownership of like the hurt that she causes like all of her family members.
Right, because her oldest son had to go out of the country to go to law school because the controversy around her was like getting in the way of him actually like achieving education here. And that's what I mean by like, girl, you're hurting your kids.
Yeah.
You're not helping them at this point. You're hurting them.
I don't think at her core that she's an evil person. I don't.
But I think that she caught a taste of the limelight and it fucking felt great, even if she was a villain amongst everyone in the world. And I think that like, it's just that thing of like, it's the same thing as a reality star that comes on and is a reality star for 5 minutes. And then they think that they're going to be a reality star for the rest of their lives. Do you know what I mean? And they get a taste of
Mhm.
being on reality TV,
Mhm.
and they're like, now this is my job now. And it's like, you were a lawyer like 5 minutes ago. Like, what? And they're like, no, I'm just like, I'm going to do this because it's so much easier just being myself and getting paid for it than like
Of
actually
course.
having a real job. And that's what she did. Like, right? Am
Yep.
I wrong?
Look, life is hard. We all want to be, in some way, we all want to be someone we're not. We all want to be this sort of fantasy version of ourselves, and some people are so stubborn that they just don't, they cannot listen to reason. You know, when I say to my husband, do I look fat in this, and he says, you know, a little bit, of course I'm furious at him for a second, but then I'm like, you're right, I'm overweight and I look fat in this. But at a certain point, Rachel should have looked at someone and said, do I look
Do I
black
look
in
black
this?
in
And they should
this?
have said, girl,
So
no.
bad.
No, you do not look black in anything. A wig, bronzer, no. That's my favorite part about that Spokane reporter, where he's like interviewing her and he's just like, he's so clearly in his head knows he's speaking to someone Caucasian and doesn't understand the word salad that's coming from her. Like, how are you doing this? How did everyone fall for this? Like, this is ridiculous.
And it's sad because like there were those other people in the documentary that are like her, like other members of the NAACP chapter. And they're like, we always kind of like knew, like we knew something was weird. We didn't know what it was, but like we kind of like had our antennas up about her. And they said like, and not for nothing, like she rose because of the colorism, like in the community, like she rose to like the president because she was light skinned, quote unquote. You know, if we're going to assume that she's a black person,
That hurts.
she is a light skinned person. And like, there was people that were definitely darker skinned people that were being interviewed that were like, we never trusted her. And like, look, I was saying the same things that she was, and she was getting all the notoriety for it. And I was nothing. She's taking a job away from someone that's like more qualified, deserves it just as much as she does. And she's using this grift to like, in theory, make money.
Well, and then the influence that she has too over education. And in one of the interviews I watched, she was talking about, she's like, would a black woman be the leader of, and then she listed all of these things that she started, an African American studies class and, you know, other black centered things. And I'm sitting over here like, yeah, girl, like, have you looked at the DEI boards? It's all white people. Like, calm down with your, like, I had to pretend to be black to actually make a difference. Because whether or not it's okay for DEI boards to be all white, that's not my commentary. My commentary is you're so delusional in how you felt like you needed to help the community. And it's so sad to me because she knows to call it out in other people, but not in herself. It's a terrible story, but it's a classic tale of a white woman centering herself into black issues.
Yes.
We all know it. We all hate it.
It really is nothing more than that, actually. Like that's the whole story right there.
Yeah.
But because
it's sad that it's taken us 30 some minutes to get to that as being the thesis of this.
But that really is the whole story. The only difference with her is that, well, there are several differences. The differences are she got busted on television. That's maybe the biggest part of all this, because there have been many other Rachel Dolezals since, and there will be in the future, largely educators, I might add, of African American studies or cultural studies who are pretending to be literally anything but Caucasian. They just don't, it's just a risk they're not willing to take. Being white is too risky for these people in their careers. Said no one ever. It's just so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
Not for nothing, remember the very beginning of the documentary is like, they like, the reason that the guy started interviewing her was because someone had sent a letter to the NAACP, like, that was like a hate crime, like a hate mail letter being like, I want to kill everyone or something. Like, I don't know what it said, but like basically like mailing like hate mail to the NAACP chapter. And then whenever they go and confront her, they're like, you're one of the only two people that had the key to this like mailbox. And this letter didn't go through the US Postal Service. So like someone that had a key to it, put it in the thing, or it was like someone at the post office that did it, which like we would not assume. So like, not like allegedly, no, this has not been proven, but like they allege, the reporter was alleging that Rachel was the person that put the letter in there in the first place, that was marked to herself.
That reporter's name, by the way, we should name him. His name is Jeff Humphrey, who is doing the Lord's work. Rachel Dolezal is this century's Watergate, and Jeff Humphrey should be given every prize. Literally every prize. The Peabody, the Pulitzer, a Golden Globe.
Yeah, a BAFTA, a SAG award. Oh my God. Do we think that she like so badly hated her parents that she like by doing all of this stuff to herself and changing who she was, she would like her race is now tainted by how horrible her parents were to her siblings, and now she wants to she needs to reject that by being closer to looking like her siblings than looking like her parents.
That is
really
is that
too deep for this podcast? But do you know what I mean?
Like, that is some straight up SVU shit right there. Like, I would not even. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It kind of like explains everything.
Something is askew with her. There's not. Something happened to her to make her want to be the member of none. It's not a coincidence that her white parents adopted black children, and that Rachel then said that she was what she terms transracial. Like, something happened between the parents who there are allegations of abuse, at least from Rachel. I don't know about
the kids in the
kids
documentary.
do as
some
well.
of the siblings are like,
remember.
They're like, here's a scar I have from being like whipped by my parents. No, it was bad, like allegedly, but like they allege that it was really bad.
Yeah.
I also will say that it was sort of when her parents turned on her publicly, there was a coldness to it where it was almost like they knew this was going to destroy her, and they were so nonchalant about it, like they just didn't give a shit. So if we're TV producers, we're sort of, I don't want to say trained, but for a living, you sort of read people. I just like, they don't like her and didn't before. I don't know what the dynamic is, if she accused him of abuse
and had no problem going on national television to drag their daughter's name through the mud,
like knowing
over and over and over and over again.
To your going on national television, let's just say international television. Jeff Humphrey, again, who knew? Spokane, who knew? They're playing this interview in Afghanistan. For centuries to come, they'll be looking at Jeff Humphrey's work.
I feel like her parents have big time colonizer vibes for me. Like the way that they are so like, look at how amazing we are because we adopted these 4 black children out of, I don't know, poverty or whatever they thought they were saving them from, No,
and remember they were like saying in the documentary that they were like in like a religious cult, basically.
Yeah.
Like the Holy Spirit is like what brought them to like adopt these children, right? Like that was like what they basically said.
That's like mission trip vibes, right? Where you're like, you have to go and save all of these the countries in Africa from their whatever the language is. I'm not going to say it because I have religious trauma, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's like it's
which we're laughing at.
Which is horrible, but it is funny.
Religious trauma, go on.
We all have it, don't we?
Who doesn't really?
We're powered by it. We're always powered by it.
All right, should we go to the pitches?
I think so. Would you, as always, like to go first?
I guess. Okay, I did not have a pitch going into this. I always go first, so I will continue to go first. I don't even know what my pitch is. There's one that I have. Like, I truly don't know because it's so hard. This is hard. This is a hard one. It's not for Dominick. I know this is what Dominick's going to say. Dominick's going to have her go balls to the fucking walls and do something crazy and like be a different race and just triple down on it. 100%. That's what it's going to be.
I think they should cast her in the Viola Davis story and shoot it while Viola Davis is alive. That's my pitch.
Is it really your pitch?
No, but I wish it was.
I want her to do. Okay, she's never gonna stop. I can't have her say like, "Oh, I'm white now. Like I'm gonna be white." Like it's not. We're not. We're past that. She needs to do. It could be a podcast. It could be like a YouTube live. Like it needs to be something that she's going to do herself because no one's going to give her the money to do this. She could do a podcast where she just reads the worst tweets about her and the worst things. Like every week she just goes on her social medias and just reads like the horrible things that people say about her. And she would reframe it as being, and like, not, you did bring up Monica Lewinsky earlier in the thing, and Monica Lewinsky had like reframed her career into being like, we are publicly shaming people, and like, that's not fun, and it's not good, and it's not a good thing. She can follow that route of like, okay, because I'm like, quote unquote, speaking my truth, here's all the horrible things that people said to me on the internet. And like, just go through and like talk to other people where like there's horribly named, like just people that are get bullied on the internet all the time. And just read through all of the bad tweets, all of the like Instagram comments. She went through it in the documentary a lot, where she basically showed like all these horrible comments that people would write about stuff, and just like do that every week and just like live in that, where she's just like, look, this is how horrible, like turn the mirror on us and be like, yes, we all hate you, but like, I'm like, this is what I read every single day about myself. So every time you say something like, basically like this whole podcast where we're like, she's a stupid idiot, like we've now just beat up on her for an hour, and everyone in the fucking world is doing the exact same thing, and like turn the mirror back on us and be like, why do you think this is funny? I might have just run the whole podcast down, but like, that's what I want her. That's what I want her bitch. I want her pitch to turn it back on the people that are like freaking out at her, and just kind of be like, you can also like just do good instead. Not that I almost disagree. Not that I agree with that she shouldn't be held accountable, but like turning the mirror on the people that give her death threats and are really, really super mean to her in the comments of things.
Yeah. And she could easily do that. And that's a very, in its own way, it's redemptive. Your pitches are all, I'm a fan of yours, Chris. I am always a fan of your pitches. They are always reasonable. My pitch today can be summed up in 2 words. Rap album.
Oh my God.
She could partner with Macklemore.
No, you win. I don't even.
We love a callback on fixing famous people. We love a callback. Julia, you win. That was it. Now, in fairness, the rap album was a joke. That is not my pitch. I have an actual pitch. I do not. I think her doing a rap album would somehow cause harm, because people only know how to express their opinions with physical violence these days. So that sort of informs what I think she should actually do. Maybe my most reasonable pitch ever on this podcast, but these silent retreats that Jared Leto and all of his friends go on for like weeks or months, she needs to literally, I'm so sorry, listeners. She needs to literally go to Tibet. She needs to go to Tibet and not speak for 1 full year. And that is my serious pitch. Oh my God. She needs.
It's so good. That's better than the rap album. And
she needs to not speak for a year. She just needs to be, you know what? She has a baby. She's got 2 young children, actually. So I don't want to fuck their childhoods up any more than they're being fucked up, but she needs to take an extended period of silence in the hopes of seeing herself somewhere in there for the first time. I do think that she is not an evil-hearted person. I mean, you can't cause the type of damage that she's causing or the type of discussions and still move forward with it if you're able to understand who you are. I don't think therapy is going to do it. I think she knows and has been surrounded by enough Black people in her life that she doesn't need an education about what their experience has been, because she's trying to force herself into that experience. She needs to just be reflective. It's the only way she moves forward, because that's the key, is her admitting to herself what she is and then to other people. Otherwise, she's never gonna, I don't think she can do this, by the way. I'm pitching something as like a last resort, but she just the best thing she ever did was in front of Jeff Humphrey, closing her mouth, turning around and walk away. She should have gone to Tibet then. And then all of this would have gone away. We would have maybe forgiven her.
How is she like Instagram living during this silent time where she just stares at like, how do we know that, like, does this help? How does this help, like, the public, like, know what I'm saying?
Really unexpected. Like, how do we prove that this
how
is
do
what
we
she's
know
doing?
that she's doing, like, how does
well,
she?
We'll put a
yes,
Nest
she goes
cam
to
in front of her, Chris. We'll put a Nest cam in the monastery and make sure that she's silent for the entire year.
That's not what I mean.
A Ring doorbell
like,
camera.
How does the public know that she's doing this? Like, the point of this, like, remember that, like, this is to, like, garner favor with the society. So, like, is there a New York Post article saying that she's going to do this, or?
No, the part of it is she's not going to tell anybody. Part of it is she's just going to do it. This is the thing. She has to live without fanfare. That is, God, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? She's got to live without. She has to live without fanfare. She's got to leave. And then, someone will say, oh, she's missing, where is she? Let's do a check. And maybe her close friends or whoever's raising her children in her absence can just say, she's fine. We're in touch with her all the time. She's just taking a break from public life. She's got to pull a Richard Simmons, basically, except we want Richard Simmons back.
We do want him back.
He doesn't want to be back, though.
Okay. I know, but Sweat Into the Oldies was so good.
Just one more appearance is all I want from him.
A farewell tour. He should be doing a farewell. He should just do one lap around the globe and then be just done forever.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd all go. Like, if we knew it was the last time, like, every single one of us would buy a ticket.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, Julia, you have two pitches.
Okay, you guys.
And if you have one of your own, by the way.
Here's what I think.
Throw your own in also. You know that you can do that.
Yes, but here's what I think. I think it needs to be a combination of both of yours. She takes a year off to do the self-reflection and to really think and to not post on Instagram and to not promote her book and all of the things. And then she comes back and does a podcast because she's realized the errors of her ways. And then she can talk about it and do an apology through her podcast. Maybe not an apology. She doesn't have to apologize. She just needs to acknowledge the harm that's happening.
By the way,
I'm nervous that she's never going to do it.
Chris is just furious.
I know.
Chris is just furious that you didn't just say Chris's idea. Check.
No, I almost want to concede. I don't want to do another tiebreaker. I feel like a tiebreaker needs to be few and far between. And
fine,
I almost want to concede.
I'm changing my pitch to rap album.
Oh, well,
no.
Here's the thing. Okay, so we'll give it to Dominick because she actually already does have a podcast.
Oh, does she really? Wait,
and
what?
Patreon.
She has a podcast and we didn't even talk about that in any of this?
I haven't listened to it because I don't know if I want to contribute to download.
What on earth is she saying on it? Why would she even?
I'm trying to remember what the title
is out the door in 2 seconds.
He
is gone.
Right now.
He is gone.
I don't care.
He is literally driving across the country just on a red eye coffees, listening to this.
I don't care if the name of this fucking podcast is Fixing Gay People. I am subscribing. How did we not know this?
It's called Peripheries. It's Peripheries podcast.
Oh, God.
Rachel,
it is
come on, pass. There's a $50 tier on her podcast where if you pay that, she will call you once a week. She'll FaceTime you and act out a scene from Waiting to Exhale. You get to name the character. She'll do it. I'm serious.
Okay. Dominick has to win. Dominick wins. Dominick
has to win because she already has a podcast. Yeah.
Woo! I'll take it.
All right, Dominick gets a win, a much-deserved win.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I mean, anytime you throw honestly, Tibet into a pitch,
it's a winner.
You can't turn down Tibet. You can never turn down Tibet.
Julia, thank you so much for unpacking this with us.
Thank you for having me. I had a good time.
You are wonderful. Will you please come back? It's so great to meet you, and I can't wait to listen to your podcast. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. Yes, of course. I'd love to come back.
Tell everyone again about the podcast and where they can find you.
Yes, the podcast is called Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous. We analyze pop culture through the lens of race or gender, and sometimes both. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, assuming a TikTok still exists in a couple of months. The Julia Washington, THE Julia Washington.
Dominick, where can people find you?
You can find me on the socials at Dominick Pupa or at my website, domentary.com, where you will also find a link to buy tickets to my show at the Cutting Room here in New York City in June. And Chris, where can we find you?
Everyone buy tickets to Dominick's show, P.S. And please, everyone go follow Julia's podcast. You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. Please rate and review the show. And please write in your review who you want us to fix next. And obviously, where's Shelley? Goodbye.